Hello, today I'll be talking about the documentary Exit Through the Gift Shop by Banksy. The whole point of this is just to talk about documentary and mockumentary film. This one has some aspects of mockumentary, but this is mainly a documentary. Um, uh, so first, I want to talk about two different techniques that they use in the film. Um, the first one is handheld cinematography. A lot of it is filmed on like low quality cameras that are like really shaky because the guy Thierry um, was like very obsessive and just ran around who like and was just filming a lot of street artists. It feels very like in the moment and spontaneous. It almost feels like you're like watching it happen while he's doing it because he is just recording people as they're doing things, and it makes it feel more real. Um, and Banksy, the director, is really smart. He uses the authentic look um, kind of as a trick because when um, Thierry transforms into like the Mr. Brainwash, the same chaotic camera style like keeps going, and we can start seeing, and it just shows like how easy it is to fake authenticity in the film. Um, and it's just because something looks real doesn't mean it does. That doesn't mean it is. And that line kind of like stuck with me. Um, and the second one technique I want to use was interviews and narration. Um, in the film, you hear from other like street artists, like Shepard Fieri and Banksy, who like uses a hidden face and distorted voice so that people don't know who he is. And the interviews make the story feel very credible, and it just makes it feel like you're getting a real, authentic um, story from someone. I feel like you're getting like a real first-hand account. It's kind of just like us getting like insider like knowledge into like the art world. Um, as the film goes on, the same interviews like start to feel like kind of manipulative, and like he's trying to make us feel a certain way. Um, it feels like it's a performance at some point. Um, when it comes to like the dialogue part of it, though, which is another part, it like most of the talking comes from Banksy and um, Thierry and a couple other artists. Thierry just sounds very energetic and fast, kind of chaotic, and very passionate. And Banksy is very like dry, monotone, a little sarcastic. Um, and sometimes you have to question what you're actually hearing. But the thing that is interesting is who doesn't speak, which is the people buying the art, the critics, and the public. You don't really hear a lot of what they're saying at all, and it um, kind of like you feel the silence in it. Um, the way Banksy frames his narration is very like ironic. He comments on Gary's success like he didn't even know what was happening, like he didn't expect it to happen with him. He said something along the lines of, "I don't know who the joke's on anymore," um, and it makes us to kind of question what we think and what we see. Um, there's some moments where the silence is very strong, and like when the camera like shows Theory's massive art show, um, and a lot of people were just pretending to understand his art, and it kind of just felt awkward, but in the same way, it felt powerful, and like that made us kind of like question like what was even happening in the scene. But yeah, it kind of just becomes like a silence becomes a way of view, um, reflection, and like a little bit of discomfort even. But on the point of context, um, the film came out in 2010 when street art um, was like having a turning point from going to be illegal, trying to become illegal, and it was trying to become something that you could be like selling in galleries, um, for art. Um, and Banksy was even becoming a household name, even though he was known as a vandal. Um, so the movie came at a perfect time. It shows how like art can be turned into a product, and also hid things like we don't even know if the story of Mr. Brainwash is real or if it was like Banksy like trying to make it sound like a social experiment. Um, Even in 2025 now, the message is very relevant and probably even more relevant with all the things on social media and even AI images. It's kind of hard to tell what's authentic and like um, it kind of shows that like what Banksy was talking about is only getting worse and worse as time goes on. And even in 2010, audience were just like just seeing now what the street world has to offer, or street art world has to offer. But now it almost feels like anyone can do it. Like anyone can burn themselves as an artist and just sell things. Um, if I were to make my own film project, which I'm not going to be doing, but it, um, I would use a lot of the techniques that Banksy does, like the handheld cameras that feel more authentic, and um, I would also think about the narration, um, maybe like the way that he used it, someone that seemed very like real and trustworthy, but then slowly becomes um, like starts to like grow in character, and you kind of don't know what's gonna happen. And I also really liked the silence that he uses and the pauses and like that were kind of awkward at times, but it just was very helpful to like add emotion to it, even though there was no words. Um, uh, Even though it's like a documentary about street art, it was very like it was a lot about the truth of like what is real, what isn't. So yeah, thank you.